Okay. Hi, I am here with Gary Leboff, author of Dare, Take Your Life On and Win, world-class sports psychologist and business coach. Welcome.
Good evening.
We're in Dingle at the moment, getting ready for the Dingle Marathon tomorrow. How do you feel? How's Dingle for you?
Oh, it's wonderful. Isn't it a special place?
Fantastic, yeah.
Worth coming all the way from London just to be.
Good. This is one of the best books I've ever read. It's one of my favourites. The way I actually describe this is that it really has a clarity for the purpose that you have in life. It kind of takes out all of those cobwebs and really brings in a lot of clarity into your life. How long did it take you to write, and how did you get to be so detailed in it, but getting all of that clarity out, because that's the difficult thing?
Well, there's kind of two parts to the answer to that question. The book only took me 6.5 weeks to write, which was pretty outrageous and fairly exhausting, as you can imagine. But I'd spent 10 years really assembling the material for the book, so it was more a case of sorting it out in my head, creating a structure that would be very easily followed by the reader, and giving them a path from start to finish, so from wherever they start, they end up with what they want.
Fantastic, yeah, it really does work as well. I think it's after every chapter, the way you have to actually write down things like a homework book really worked.
Well, it's not a book that you just read, it's a book that you do something with. You know, I wasn't interested in, there are too many self-help books out there that you read and, you know, when you've read them you put them down and never think about them again.
Yeah.
The idea of this one was very much, don't read it, do it. Because this work does, frankly, work. You know, it's very productive. I'm very lucky. I help people change their lives and get what they want out of life. And the book was really a distillation of the work that I do with my clients.
And many people actually remember you from The Challenge on BBC, which was a fantastic series as well, where it really excelled people beyond what they ever believed they could achieve. And I think the rare thing is that the crossover between being so good at sports psychology and then crossing over to business coaching is something that's very, very rare. How come you find that easy?
Well, as someone who is interested in people rather than specifically sportsmen, it wasn't enough for me to stick to sport. I'm interested in human development, personal development, whether it's in sportsmen or whether it's in human beings generally. And that's why, as I say in the book, you know, I work with everybody, not just business executives or premiership footballers, but you know, housewives and people from all walks of life. And I enjoy working with all these groups of people equally, because ultimately sometimes it's the people you least expect who make the most progress, and that's really where the job satisfaction comes from. It's from seeing someone who has been in a mess sort themselves out and get the life they always knew they could have.
And that was one of my favourite things on the programme Challenge. You can really see people with, you know, one good person on one shoulder and a bad demon on the other shoulder, one telling you to go on and the other telling you to stop. And I suppose we all feel like that in a day-to-day, even if you're not running a marathon or you are running a marathon or you're in business, that there is things that will tell you stop and there's things to tell you go. So is that the kind of synergy that you play by, everyone?
Well, I mean, certainly we are pulled and pushed by these various voices inside our heads, and frankly, the people who have the most productive lives, they tend to ignore the don't voice and go with the do voice. And it doesn't always work out for them, but they're not dissuaded from having another go. The danger for a lot of people when we're young is we try stuff, it doesn't work, and that deflects us from our mission, whatever it happens to be. And it's understanding that a setback is by no means the end of the road. We all have barriers that we need to overcome, challenges that come up for us in life, and getting through those is often the step we need to take us to the next level. But we can't all do it by ourselves, so it's nice to know perhaps that for my clients there's someone out there who can just provide that extra bit of guidance they need you know, to help them realise their ambitions.
And go the extra mile, which is the title of tonight's seminar, Going the Extra Mile for the Dingle Marathon. We are just finished the seminar. It was just the Friday night before the Dingle Marathon, which is tomorrow morning. Very, very exciting. 2,500 people running tomorrow morning. There's an ultra marathon of 50 miles. There's a marathon with 26 miles, and then there's the half marathon. We had a lot of really freaked out people who didn't know how they were going to go. Some were going to walk, some were going to run, and it was really fantastic out there. It was great. A nice 40 minutes of absolute real energy. And how do you feel about doing a seminar like that, like going the extra mile, compared to other stuff that you've done in the past with, say, we'll say, celebrity sportsmen?
Oh, it's enormous fun to talk to people who, frankly, don't have access to this kind of training on a normal basis. Professional sportsmen, they increasingly, thank goodness, have their minds open to working with someone like myself. But for most people in the street, they don't even know this work exists. So to, as you rightly say, watch people's eyes open as I started to speak, you know, it was very much a case of the audience warming up as the talk went on, and I could see them start to listen and nod their heads and do the exercises as we went along. And you know, the participation level increased as we went, and by the end they were all really into it. So it's a wonderful thing. If the sports psychology, I've just come back from the States, in America it's much more ubiquitous than it is here. In Europe we're still somewhat reticent about anything to do with the mind. We don't mind doing stuff, you know, that's logical, that we can understand the left side of our brain, but all the intuitive stuff, all the kind of touchy-feely stuff is still out of bounds for most people.
Yeah, you don't want to let your emotions out too much, really, do you?
Quite. You don't want to reveal anything about yourself, God forbid. And so, yeah, as it were to be dumped on however many hundreds of people it was out there, who, most of them, I don't think were even expecting me, though, that they kind of knew there was going to be a speaker, and they certainly didn't know what I was going to talk about, was for them a real eye-opener, and I say, isn't something they normally have access to.
Well, tonight is all about going the extra mile, and that's what the whole weekend is about with the Dingle Marathon. Going the extra mile is definitely the mission statement on the ethos of Mahar Sports, who is our sponsor tonight. So thank you very much to Mahar Sports as well. And thank you very much to Gary. Gary, what's next? Do we have a new book? Is there a new series? What's on the agenda? What's next in the future?
Next between you and I is working in the Premiership. There are teams already, we're only 3 games into the season, in need of some urgent help. I know my agent is talking to several of them, and so I suspect that's where a lot of my energies are going to go in the next few months. It's very exciting stuff. You know, I'd highly recommend walking out with your team at Old Trafford or Anfield or somewhere for all the budding sports psychologists out there. Life is good.
That is good. It sounds exciting, and I'm going to leave you now and say thank you very much to Gary. We'll have all of this up on the blog on YouTube. You can also tune in to Going the Extra Mile, which is the seminar by Gary Leboff today at the Dingle Marathon, and have fun. And the Dingle Marathon you can also catch on tgcahar/the Dingle Marathon. Thanks very much, Gary.
Thank you.
And now you can go set me up with one of those beautiful football